Hello everyone and welcome to February's edition of my bullet journal setup. I just want to quickly talk and explain why my themes are going to be the way that they are for the next year, I think I've planned. So last year I very much focused on architectural styles from pretty much the beginning of time. Well, not beginning of time, not quite when we were still atoms, etc. But I went from Neolithic, if anyone remembers this spread, and Archifox. I need to bring him back. I've got a few ideas for him, but I've not yet got around to doing it, as always. So we went from Neolithic architecture all the way till the end of the 19th century with Victorian architecture in December. So we pretty much skipped through a lot of stuff, but I touched upon a lot of the main styles, I believe. So this year, because it's 2020, I want to focus on the 20th century architecture styles. And I did my setup for 2020 with very much heavily inspired by Charles Rennie Mackintosh, because he was sort of at the very beginning of the century, kicking off sort of the art styles in the architecture styles at that time. And as I've said in a previous video, he is one of my favourite architects, and he was the first one that I discovered and realised, oh, actually I could possibly be an architect. So he's the one that kicked it all off for me. So I thought it was fitting to do my setup for this decade, my first setup for this decade in his style, and so far it's worked out really well. And you know, I'm using the pages, I'm finding it much more easier than what I did last year. So yep, I'm really happy with that spread. But moving on to this month's spread, I'm still keeping within Art Nouveau, because I do love Art Nouveau. But I want to focus on Gaudi's architecture, who is the second architect that I discovered, but is very much in contrast to Charles Rennie Mackintosh, even though they were in the same sort of style. Charles Rennie Mackintosh was very simple, beautiful, very select palette of colours, whereas Gaudi, he uses all of the colours in the rainbow. And he's very detailed and just beautiful. I will put lots of images up on screen so you can really understand his style and where he gets his ideas from and his drawings from, and is very much from nature, which is the whole point of Art Nouveau anyway, is that, you know, we've created these art styles from nature. So yeah, this is my cover, and I've gone to using the symbols again, even though it's not a symbol, it's actually the floor plan to his famous cathedral that is still being built to this day. We might get it done sometime this century, hopefully. But it is a monumental building that, you know, I can understand why it's taking so long, and then obviously politics and things along the way has got in the way. But it's hopefully, I think they've said 2026 it'll be done. So I'll definitely be taking a trip to Barcelona to see that. My cover page is just the window of Casa Batelito. I've actually been in this building. It was quite a few years ago now, but I was just in awe of this building. It's a it was built to be a residential building. I'm not sure if there are people in there. I'm not sure people want to live in there with the amount of tourists that they get now, but it is an absolute amazing building. If you're ever in Barcelona, you have to go and see it. I've done February in a cutout of the Art Nouveau. It's more of a Charles Rennie Mackintosh font, just a cutout, and then put some copper washi tape. Then the next page is my Don't Quit page, which I still find is my best spread. And I just love this don't quit thing of do it, basically. And then this little sketch is of the interior of Gaudi's cathedral, and how different it is to the traditional sense of their cathedrals. And then I have this month's calendar and the next 2 months to look ahead about what I need to do in place. So yeah. Then I don't have a monthly calendar because, like I say, I use Google Calendar to do all my sort of time blocking and appointments and things. So I don't see the point of repeating it, because not only will it take time, but it's kind of pointless because I get notifications from the phone and things for appointments. So I just dive straight into my weeklies. Week 6 it's the yearly weeks as opposed to week 1 of February or week 2. I go with that calendar because for working things they stick to that as well. So it makes sense for me to stick to that calendar, because I still to this day get confused when they say, oh, week 8 we'll be doing da 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 da, and it's like, well, what the hell's week 8? You know, so if I start doing it in my own bullet journal, then I get accustomed to actually what the week number is. And I kept it pretty much blank, no boxes, no drawings really, because I just want to see how I go and how much I use, but I've left a double page spread just in case. I've done this little doodle of, well, not doodle, it's a profile of actually Gaudi's arches in Park Güell, which they are to the side, and it just creates this nice wave of stone in block work. Again, I will put an image up. And then I've just wrote notes in it, and then these can be my little notes for what I need to take with me for the next week. I'll do next week, which I didn't get done this week. So yeah, I've just got week 7, week 8, and week 9. But then my final spread is a project timeline. This is something that I need to use more often. I was using it at one point, but then it sort of dropped off at the end, but it was more because it wasn't in a place for me to really use it. It was like tucked away in a folder upon folder on the PC and things. So I thought if I bring it into my bullet journal, which I do use pretty much daily, it'll be better for me. So the project timeline is for the main project that I'll be focusing on for that particular month. And then for me to write down the tools and resources that I need to have out and ready to use. The title of the project, the start date, and the deadline. So pretty much when I need to finish that particular project. Some of the projects, of course, will roll on from monthly to monthly. If not yearly in some cases. I mean, it is architecture we're doing, so it can take a long time for a project to get started and finished. But then I've got here the main tasks that I need to, and then the details of them to break them down. So like if I say I need to build a model, then I need to break it down in the sections of how to build that model, and then put that task into this section, and then block out the days of when I will be doing that, and hopefully keep on some sort of schedule of being able to get things down. But on the top, I've left it for milestones. So say if week 7, I need to get Tuesday the 11th, the client needs to see the model, then I need to block off as much time as I can to get that model done before the 11th. As well as any other little major things that I need to do. And then I've just left a little notes section for any notes that might crop up or need to be written down. So hopefully this is going to be a spread that I'll use every month, but we'll see how I go this month using it. And I'll show you on next month's spread of how it all worked out. But yeah, that's it for this month's spread. thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found something useful from this, whether it be the layouts or my way of organising myself, or if you learned something about Gaudi or Charles René Mackintosh or Art Nouveau. I promise next month I will be doing something different from Art Nouveau. It might be another art something. I'm sure you can guess what that is. So in the meantime, happy architecting.